On Global TV News Prime, Nigeria to set up textile cotton industries. In business, federal government, SEC and MEDA orders seek accelerated infrastructure to boost economy. World Bank projects 3.6% economic growth for Nigeria. And on the foreign scene, Pakistan resists Indus River shutdown attempted by India. And in sport, Real Madrid forward Vinicius Junior faces 2-year ban. Hello and welcome to all of our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to News Prime on Global Television, coming to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja. I am Ramsey Enoch. A quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV channel 365 and Star Times 276. You can download the Global TV Nigerian mobile app for Android and iOS devices to keep track of our broadcast. Now the news in details. The National Economic Council, NEC, has approved the establishment of a National Cotton and Textile Board to coordinate the planned resuscitation of the cotton and textile industry in Nigeria. Imo State Governor Hope Uzodinma said this while briefing journalists at the meeting presided over by Vice President Kashim Shettima. Uyi Agbomofogbe has reports.
Imo State Governor Hope Uzodinma said the move is aimed at boosting the economic reforms program of the current administration. Uzodinma noted that after interfacing with representatives of the cotton and textile sector, the council was satisfied with their recommendations and endorsed the establishment of a board and 6 regional officers that will coordinate the activities of the sector, leading to the renewal of the hitherto moribund cotton and textile industries.
Council considered that to make it more functional, that their proposal for a public-private partnership where government will partner with the private sector to put this sector back to order, and that whoever that will be the chairman will come from the private sector, and the body should be funded from the textile import levy currently being collected by Nigerian Customs. So Council endorsed the presentation and approved the establishment of a national office and regional offices in each of the 6 geopolitical zones.
Nigeria's Economic Council, NEC, also approved the establishment of the Green Imperative Project's GIP National Office in Abuja and regional offices across the 6 geopolitical zones of the country. Minister of Agriculture and Food Security, Abba Kyari, who disclosed this, said GIP will help in addressing the crisis fueled by the current system of animal husbandry in the country.
Considered the following prayers to acknowledge the GIP setting of regional offices across the 6 geopolitical zones, and also to endorse the regional offices of the Green Imperative across those states, and the states are also encouraged to participate, because what this seeks to do is to catalyze. The $1.1 billion is to draw up core investments, private sector driven, from all other investment promotions.
Meanwhile, the National Economic Council deferred discussions on the proposed establishment of state police due to time constraints during its extended meeting at the council chambers. Bayelsa State Governor Doyo Diri confirmed that the matter was on the agenda but could not be discussed due to the limited time available.
Rivers State Sole Administrator Ibok Ete Ibas has appealed to the National Assembly's ad hoc committee for additional time to adequately prepare for a detailed briefing on the ongoing situation in the state. Citing the fragile security and political environment under the current state of emergency, addressing the committee at the National Assembly on Friday, Ibas began by acknowledging the leadership of the committee and the importance of its role in upholding democratic integrity. Ibas expressed regret over his previous absence from the earlier engagement with the committee, explaining that the delay was not out of disrespect but due to urgent governance demand. A civil society group under the aegis of the Center for Human Rights and Accountability Network has advocated for the establishment of state police, saying that present security architecture appears unable to cope with the rising waves of crime and criminality in the country. The director of the network in Akwa Ibom State, Otukeng Isang, argued that the introduction of state police in the policing structure of the country will address key security lapses and tackle crimes and crime prevention in Nigeria. President Bola Tinubu has directed an immediate and comprehensive overhaul of national security strategies, demanding urgent action to end the escalating violence in Borno, Benue, Plateau, and Kwara states. Kikelomo Okere has details.
President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who met with the security chiefs at the State House in Abuja for more than 2 hours, says the killings of innocent people in Borno, Benue, and Plateau State must cease. The president, who spoke through the National Security Advisor, Nuhu Ribadu, condemned the senseless targeting of innocent Nigerians. He therefore ordered a new approach to tackling the security problems.
Some of the challenges are more or less bordering on community problems. Not entirely everything is that, but of course it plays a significant role. You need to work with the communities, you need to work with the local governments, you need to work with the governors, especially the governors. President continue to direct that we should be doing that, and that's what we are able to. And we are very happy, very satisfied with the instructions and the directives given by Mr. President. He is so worried and concerned. He insisted that enough is enough, and we are working and to ensure that we restore peace and security.
The NSA says the attacker usually gets innocent citizens by planting improvised explosive device. He added that the president highlighted the need to involve the local councils and state government in tackling insecurity cases.
Mr. President is insisting and working so hard to ensure that we have peace, security, and stability in our country. We gave him what is going on, and we also assured him that work is ongoing and continuous.
The issue of insecurity often is not just at higher level, it involves subunits. The federal government reiterated its commitment in restoring peace and security in the country. Kikelomo Okere, Global Television News.
A Lagos State House of Assembly has summoned the chairman of the State Independent Electoral Commission, LASIC, Justice Bola Okikelo Igbele, and the commissioner of the commission to appear before it to provide detailed explanation regarding their plans and preparation for the forthcoming local council election scheduled for July. During a plenary session, concerns were raised by the lawmakers regarding the precise, rushed nature of the commission's processes and the inadequacy of the released electoral guidelines. Chairman, House Committee on Judicial Petitions, Human Rights and LASIC, Oladipo Ojamale, expressed a strong reservation, stating that the Commission is rushing through the process with incomplete guidelines. The National Association of Nigerian Students has called on the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, that is NDLEA, to extend its proposed mandatory drug testing initiative to political office holders and aspirants. The agency's chairman, retired Brigadier General Buba Marwa, had repeatedly proposed drug integrity tests for core members and prospective couples and other groups as part of efforts to curb substance abuse. Marwa restated the call this week during a courtesy visit by the Director General of the National Youth Service Corps, Brigadier General Olakunle Nafiu, to NDLEA headquarters in Abuja. The Benue State Executive Council has approved the sum of 2.3 billion naira for the remodeling of the government secondary school in Ihu community for the immediate take-off of the Benue State University of Agriculture, Science and Technology. Commissioner for Information, Culture and Tourism, Matthew Abo, disclosed this while briefing newsmen on the outcome of the council meeting. Felicity Ndere was there for Global Television.
It will be recalled that Benue State Executive Council had earlier ratified the proposal for the establishment of the Benue State University of Agriculture, Science and Technology (EU) with the mandate on the relevant stakeholders to liaise with the National Universities Commission and the State House of Assembly for procurement processes. Commissioner for Information, Culture and Tourism Matthew Abu said the sum of 2.3 billion will be used for remodeling of the Government Secondary School (EU) for immediate take-off of the institution.
We have approved the award of contracts to the tune of 2,356,551 naira only. So this is the amount of money that we are going to use to do remodel government secondary school and do preliminary things in that school so that the university will now take off.
He explained that the establishment of government-owned tertiary institution in the Benue Northeast will ensure a balance with other zones of the state. In Makudi, Felicity Ndere, Global TV News.
You are watching the live broadcast of News Cycle. When News Cycle returns, Norwegian Prime Minister visits White House, discusses Russian-Ukraine war. Details coming shortly, plus foreign and sports stories on the other side of this break. Stay with us.
Do you know that Global Television can be watched in Nigeria and all over the world?
Download the Global TV Nigerian mobile app for Android and iOS devices to watch Global Television real-time from around the world. What are you waiting for?
Start downloading and stay connected to Global Television.
Welcome back. Now in business. The Federal Government Security and Exchange Commission, Africa and Middle East Depositors Associations, and other financial market stakeholders have called for accelerated collaboration to enhance capital market infrastructure and drive economic growth. This call was made during the 2025 Middle East Depository Associations Conference, hosted by the Central Security Clearing System, CSCS PLC in Lagos. Vice President Senator Kashim Shettima, represented by Dr. Tokbe Fasaun, Special Advisor to the President on Economic Affairs, emphasized the urgent need to reposition financial systems and engines of growth in Africa and the Middle East. The World Bank has projected that Nigeria's economy will grow by 3.6% in 2025, building on an estimated expansion of 3.4% in 2024 as key macroeconomic reforms begin to stabilize the business environment. The bank says Nigeria is now home to 15% of the world's extremely poor people, according to its latest African Pulse report released in April 2025. The bank's latest economic forecast, which is contained in the Spring 2025 edition of African's Pulse, reflects a more optimistic view that of International Monetary Fund, which revised Nigeria's 2025 growth rate downward to 3.0% in its April 2025. China appears to have quietly rolled back retaliatory tariff of 125% on some semiconductors made in the U.S., according to details provided by three important agencies in the Southern Technology Hub of Shenzhen, as Beijing tries to soften the blow of an ongoing trade war on its all-important tech industry. The exemption applied to integrated circuits, also known as microchips or semiconductors, according to the agencies. They found out about the expansion, which have not been officially announced. On April 12, China raised its reciprocal tariff to 125% for all goods originating from the United States in response to U.S. President Donald Trump's move to hike levies on Chinese goods to a sky-high 145%. And on the foreign scene, officials say troops from Pakistan and India exchanged fire overnight across the line of control, its disputed Kashmir, after the United Nations urged the unclear armed rivals to show maximum restraint following a deadly shooting in the region.
Pakistan vehemently rejects the Indian announcement to hold the Indus Water Treaty in abeyance. The treaty is a binding international agreement brokered by World Bank and contains no provision for unilateral suspension. Water is a vital national interest of Pakistan, a lifeline for its 240 million people, and its availability will be safeguarded at all costs. Any attempt to stop or divert the flow of water belonging to Pakistan as per the Indus Water Treaty and the usurpation of the rights of lower riparian will be considered as an act of war and responded with full force across the complete spectrum of national power. Pakistan shall exercise the right to hold all bilateral agreements with India, including but not limited to similar agreement in abeyance till India desists from its manifested behavior of fomenting terrorism inside Pakistan, transnational killings, and non-adherence to international law and UN resolutions on Kashmir.
Relations have plunged to their lowest level in years, with India accusing Pakistan of supporting what it calls cross-border terrorism after gunmen carried out the war's attack on civilians in contested Muslim-majority Kashmir for a quarter of a century. A normally bustling border crossing between Tanzania and Malawi was noticeably quieter than usual as a result of an escalating regional trade row. For midnight, Tanzania banned the entry of all agricultural imports from Malawi and South Africa. In responses to that, it is as a restriction on some of its exports. South Africa has for years prohibited the entry of bananas from Tanzania. Malawi last month blocked imports of flour, rice, ginger, banana and maize from its northern neighbor. U.S. President Donald Trump says he is applying pressure on Russia to end the war in Ukraine, insisting that Moscow agreeing not to take over the entire country is a huge concession. Uyi Agbomofuegbe has the rest of the story.
The U.S. president confirmed that the partnership between the United States and Norway remains strong, expressing admiration for the Prime Minister Jonas Gahr Støre and the country's king.
And we understand each other very well. I think we'll have no problem because I like them. And I like your Prime Minister, and I like the way your government runs, and I respect the king. He's highly respected in Norway. It's a great thing, not an easy thing to do.
Trump also issued a rare rebuke of Russian leader Vladimir Putin, stating that he is not happy after Moscow fired a barrage of missiles and drones at Kyiv.
I didn't like last night. I wasn't happy with it. And we're in the midst of talking peace, and missiles were fired. And I was not happy with it. That's what I meant, and that's,
President Trump also said he was applying pressure on Russia to end the Ukraine war, insisting that Moscow agreeing not to take over the whole of Ukraine is a generous concession. Uyi Agbomofuegbe reporting for Global Television News.
More than 60 people have been reportedly killed in Gaza, and casualties continue to mount as Israel carries out early morning attack on the Palestinian territory. The Palestinian Civil Defense and medics said 12 people from the same family in North Gaza's Jabaliya were among those killed in the Israeli attack. The health ministry in Gaza reports that 1,978 people have now been killed and 5,207 injured since Israel broke its ceasefire with Hamas on March 18, 2025. And now from the world of sport, Remo Stars ladies have made history by qualifying for the Nigeria Women's Football League Premiership Super 6 for the first time ever after a 2-2 draw away to Abia Angels in a rescheduled match. The result was enough to send the Ikeme-based club into the playoff with a match to spare in only their second season in the top flight. Originally scheduled, the match was halted in the 23rd minute due to heavy rainfall. Liverpool have done hand in the Premier League trophy as they seek the solitary point they need against struggling Tottenham on Sunday that will guarantee a record qualifying 20th English title. A draw as an expectant Anfield will take Armin Slot's men 13 points clear of Arsenal with just 4 games remaining, meaning they could not be cut. Real Madrid forward Vinicius Jr. could just be facing disciplinary action from what the World Football Governing Body FIFA following allegations that he co-owns multiple football clubs while still actively playing, a move that may violate governing regulations. The Brazilian international has been instrumental in Real Madrid's campaign this season, consistently delivering standout performance as the team pushes for silverware. As Global TV News Prime comes to an end, let's take a look at the top stories. The National Economic Council (NEC) has approved the establishment of a National Cotton and Textile Board to coordinate the planned resuscitation of the cotton and textile industry in Nigeria. In business, the World Bank has projected that Nigeria's economy will grow by 3.6% in 2025, building on an estimated expansion of 3.4% in 2024, as key macroeconomic reforms begin to stabilize the business environment. And on the foreign scene, officials say troops from Pakistan and India exchanged fire overnight across the line of control in dispute Kashmir after the United Nations urged the nuclear-armed rivals to show maximum restraint following a deadly shooting in the region. And in sport, Real Madrid forward Vinicius Jr. could be facing disciplinary action from World Football Governing Body, FIFA, following allegations that he co-owns multiple football clubs while still actively playing, a move that may violate governing regulations. And that's it on Global TV News Prime. A quick reminder that Global TV is on DSTV channel 365 and Star Times channel 276. Kindly follow us across all social media platforms now showing on your screen using @Global TV NG. You can download the Global TV Nigerian mobile app for Android and iOS devices to keep track of our broadcast. I am Ramsey Enoch Agbo. Thank you for watching.